This presentation aims to see how aware EFL teachers are of developing and assessing learners' writing skill in an alternative way. The existing situation. Writing skills constitute a dynamic skill nowadays, practiced quite frequently by students, especially through the use of electronic means of communication. However, the majority of EFL teachers and practitioners adopt a rather traditional way of assessing writing, that is, conventional tests instead of alternative forms. They also fail to adapt writing tasks so as to foster communication for realistic purposes and therefore develop students' writing skills. The purpose of the research, therefore, is to explore EFL practitioners' knowledge and practices of alternative assessment methods and tools, and of communicative writing in adapting writing tasks and assessing students' writing skills. The research questions are: do EFL teachers provide meaningful and realistic purposes when testing writing? How do teachers assess their students' writing skills? To what extent are teachers familiar with alternative methods and techniques in assessing writing? Writing is a rather demanding skill which many students dislike and find frustrating. It is not a natural ability and needs a lot of practice and assistance in all aspects involved, and many stages to follow, such as pre-writing, focusing, responding or generating ideas, revisiting or reviewing their work, editing or evaluating their work, and the final stage, which is publishing their work. There are also many task criteria that need to be met in order for communicative writing to be effective. These criteria are the purpose, the input text, the information gap, the student's role, the audience or interlocutor, the output text, and the assessment.
So as regards assessment, alternative assessment complements conventional forms in an effort to renew them, relies on specific criteria, that is, it is less formative and more realistic. It follows less formative and more realistic procedures, authentic material, emphasis on the process and the product of learning, and also it is a continuous process to collect data both inside and outside the classroom. Alternative assessment evaluates both the process and the product of learning, promotes active participation in the learning and assessment process, evaluates and monitors instruction, represents a collaborative approach to assessment, stimulates motivation and reflection, and promotes the use of metacognitive strategies and higher order thinking skills. Regarding the writing skill, a variety of alternative methods can be used to assess students' performance and progress as far as the writing skill is concerned. These methods of alternative assessment include portfolios, diaries or journals, projects, observations, peer and self-assessment, checklists, and anecdotal records. The benefits of implementing alternative assessment in assessing writing skill are many. It focuses both on the product and the process of the written medium. It highlights the difficulties and provides guidance and resources to students. It accommodates students with special abilities as it promotes differentiated learning. It establishes a sense of fairness and equity among students. It exposes students to authentic language through the use of problem-solving real-life tasks. It provides useful data to both the teacher and the students and entails the use of descriptive language.
The research method followed was a quantitative one, and the sample included 125 practitioners. The researcher developed a questionnaire, and the participants included in this research were mainly state school teachers, followed by private tutors and private language school teachers. The research findings and implications. As appears in the figure below, the majority of practitioners assign tasks found in course books, practice books, and skill books. A considerable percentage also adapts writing tasks or designs their own. As a result, it can be suggested that there is inconsistency between teaching and testing practices. Students are exposed to tasks that emulate the ones found in exam bodies. It was also found that the majority of teachers assign letters, essays, compositions, and descriptions. There is moderate frequency concerning other types of writing tasks, such as reports, reviews, guides, instructions, or announcements. To this end, findings imply that students are exposed to a variety of written tasks that may encounter in real life, but are partly exposed to communicative writing tasks, since practitioners rely heavily on writing tasks found in course books or skills books. EFL teachers resort to more traditional ways of assessing students' writing work, as appears in the figure below. The use of global writing scales or analytic rating scales is totally absent from their practices. They tend to comment on students' writing performance by giving writing remarks about their strengths and weaknesses. It can be suggested that these practices do not constitute a method of alternative assessment. The combination of checklists, global or analytical rating scales and percentages can provide a holistic picture of students' work. It was also found that the majority of EFL teachers answered that they do not use anecdotal records, portfolios, diaries, logs, or journals to assess their students' writing skills. Projects seem to be mostly preferred, while the use of checklists is also quite limited. It can be suggested that these data are rather surprising given the fact that practitioners are familiar with the benefits of implementing alternative assessment. To conclude, the initial hypothesis was confirmed. EFL teachers are unaccustomed to using alternative assessment methods and are unfamiliar with third-generation communicative criteria in adapting and assessing writing tasks. The necessity of EFL teachers training on alternative assessment methods as a component of teacher development is strong, and the development of educational material to respond to their needs in assessing all skills is also needed. When combined with traditional methods and triangulated, alternative assessment practices can also ensure reliability and validity. Alternative assessment acts as a seal to all parts involved in the teaching and learning process. Thank you for your attention.